one of the elders, Dr. Cornell, uh, Ema Audrey. Would you pray us in, Mama? Okay, okay. Maybe she ain't here. Um, Ema Judy. I'm not sure if y'all can hear me. Hello. Can anybody hear me?
Con, I can hear you.
Hey,
Okay.
yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. All right. So I guess I'll pray us in there. Most high, most powerful, creator of all things. First and foremost, we come before you with praise on our lips and gratitude within our hearts. Not only for the day, Father God, for getting us through the day, for preventing accidents and incidents that we did not even see. For you are sovereign and you are Elohim of us all. So we thank you, Father God. We thank you for this meeting, this conversation, Father God, where we pray that you not only lead the conversation, but be in the midst of it, allowing each and every one of us, Father God, to give what you have placed inside of us as pieces to a puzzle that is greater than each individual. So we pray that your word go forth on this night, Father God, and that we may hear what you have to say to your children. Plus the Zakonim, the Zakonot, Mori Samat, the Anashim, the Nashim, the Yeladim. All that are in attendance, Father God. We pray that you are with us. We honor you and we praise you with all of our heart, soul, and might. Bless you, Yahuwah. Blessed be the name of Yahuwah. And bless he who comes in the name of Yahuwah. Amen. Okay. Shalom. My fault. Phone just got disconnected. Like I was saying, we're talking about the importance of water. And just by the title, does anybody have any thoughts on that?
Maury, could you repeat the question, please, if you don't mind?
No problem. Shalom, sis, by the way. I said the title is The Importance of Water. Does anybody have any thoughts in regards to that, just based on the title?
I could speak if no one else wants to go first, if you don't mind. Shalom, everyone. Just thinking off the top of my head of just water, it has the ability to purify as well as be chaotic. It can be destructive. Um, so it has like that duality. It can purify, and it does purify, but it also can be destructive nature, causing chaos.
Okay. Told us sis. Aki, Adon, Shalomo. How you feeling now?
I'm getting there. All praises to the Most High. I would say water is a universal solvent.
My fault. I just got a call. Can you please repeat that? My fault. It kind of cut in.
Low the bar. That's cool. I was just saying that water is a universal solvent.
Hmm. Can you elaborate on that? Because I don't really know what that means.
Basically, it can mix with anything, or rather, water is like the basis. So
Hmm.
if you see where I'm going with that, yeah.
Okay. I see you out. Say Shamar, Shalom Aki.
Yeah. Praise Yahweh and so on, everyone. Yeah, I want to say that water, it symbolizes to me cleansing, and bringing forth something new. Because if you think about, someone being baptized or the immersion, you're washing away your sins. And basically you're starting a new walk or a new chapter in your life. And if you think about the flood, the flood was washing away all the wicked people, not just the wicked people, but everything, all the animals, and then it was starting off fresh with Noah and his family.
Hmm. Okay. See, these are different. Okay. Told her about. See, these are different thoughts that I wasn't looking at, but that's why we're together. But Kane, say Shamar, told her about. Zaquane, Lasimba,
But
Shalom Adon.
Shalom, shalom. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure what you're talking about because I came in a tad late, but I heard the word water. So I'm just gonna give what I think you're talking about for the most part. For me, water represents life. Everything that you could think about came out of water. From the beginning of the creation of earth, everything surrounded water. Water had a part to play in everything. So when a man is born or whatever, I'm not sure about the animals and them, but throughout our birth, from the time we're conceived till we come out in water, from the beginning of time when everything was created, almost everything came out of water. So water means life for me.
Okay. All right. So told her about to all those who answered. Definitely water is life. Okay, I see the melanated hand. Adon Bayit or Adon Azar.
Okay. So I went to the Hebrew when it comes to water, which is Mayim, which is waters or Ma, but Mem itself, water is chaotic, mighty or blood, which is life. And I believe everyone was hitting it on the money when they gave their different understandings because it actually symbolizes all those that were already mentioned. But I did think of destruction as well as life. it is, I believe someone said a solver. I'm not sure if I heard that was correct, but it literally is the answer to both destruction and life, because we are 70% water. The earth is 70% water, but the water's chaotic. It flows, and you can't tell water where to go. You go where the water takes you, or you get destroyed in its wake. So I think it's important to know that tranquility or peace, if you go with the flow, is also a representation of water. To be able to be moved or led is another form of what water can do. Because you can even be led into life or led into chaos, depending on how you flow with the situation.
Hey, 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 tell her about Key. I'm always glad to hear your voice. Okay, so with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and go to the first script, which is in the book of Matthew, commonly called Matthew, chapter 14. Matthew, commonly called Matthew, chapter 14. And we're gonna start at verse 22. I would say hallelujah when you arrive, but you know, that'd be too much noise. Matthew, commonly called Matthew, chapter 14, verse 22, and it reads, and straightway Yeshua constrained his disciples to get into a ship to go before him until the other side, while he sent the multitudes away. And when he had sent the multitudes away, he went up into a mountain apart to pray. And when the evening was come, he was there alone. But the ship was now in the midst of the sea, tossed with waves, but the wind was contrary. And in the fourth watch of the night, Yahushua went unto them walking on the sea. And when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, it is a spirit. And they cried out for fear. But straightway Yahushua spake unto them, saying, be of good cheer. It is I, be not afraid. And Kepha answered him and said, Adon, if it be you, bid me unto thee on the water. And he said, come. And when Kepha was come down out of the ship, he walked on the water to go to Yahushua. But when he saw the wind boisterous, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried, saying, Adon, save me. And immediately Yahushua stretched forth his hand and caught him and said unto him, O thee of little Amunah, wherefore didst thou doubt? And when they were come into the ship, the wind ceased. Then they that were in the ship came and worshipped him, saying, of a truth, thou art Ben Elohim, but not Elohim. And when they were going over, they came into the land of Gennesaret. So, I want to say again, the water is necessary. So first we understand that Yahushua sent the multitudes away. Now I want to key in on a couple verses. First, verse 24. It says, but the ship now in the midst of the sea, tossed with waves, for the wind was contrary. And verse 25, and in the fourth watch of the night, Yahushua went unto them walking on the sea. So verse 24 said the ship was in the midst of the sea, tossed with waves, for the wind was contrary. So that word for toss, right? The word for toss is basanido, basanizo. It means to test metals by the touchstone, which is a black siliceous stone used to test the purity of gold or silver by the color of the streak produced on it by rubbing it with either metal. It also means to question by applying torture. To vex with grievous pains, to be harassed, distressed, of those who at sea who are struggling with the windhead. But the main definitions I want y'all to understand is to test by a touchstone the purity of gold or silver, and to question by applying torture. So they were tossed or they were tested. That word for waves is kuma, which is a wave, especially of the sea or of a lake. But in the spiritual sense, of impulse and restless men, tossed to and fro by their raging passions. So once again, we go back to the emotions that we spoke about previously, right? So they were in a boat being tested by restless men, being harassed by restless men who were in their emotions. And why was that the case? It said, for the wind was contrary. So we know wind is ruach. We understand wind is ruach, or inspiration, right? And it said contrary, which is adverse. So it had the spirit of Shaitan was in these men in order to test, or to test the purity of their gold or their silver, to test the purity of their faith. And it said in the fourth watch, verse 25, right? In the fourth watch of the night, Yahusha went unto them walking on the sea. So Maisha, she studies night watches and stuff like that. So I'm like, baby, what's the fourth watch? And she was like, well, that's the hour of the witches. That's the time period of demonic spirits, which will line up perfectly with the fact that there was a adversarial ruach that moved on the face of the waters. But Yahusha seems to be walking on the waters. So the way that you walk is your lifestyle based on your mentality, right? So people be like, you can tell by the way he walk, he ain't from around here, or he got a strong walk and stuff like that. That's your walk is going to be based on your mentality. So his walk or his mindset was above all of that. So then it said, Kepha said, oh, if it's you, Adon, or master, if it's you, let me come out on the water. He said, come. So Peter is allowed to walk on the water based on Yahusha elevating his own mindset, right? But of course, we know the story, verse 30. It said, but when he saw the wind boisterous, he was afraid. That word for boisterous, it means strong or mighty. But interesting, one of the definition is of one who has strength of soul to sustain the attacks of Shaitan. So in all actuality, he saw the ability to do what he was doing, and it kind of frightened him. Like when you're doing something and you're like in your subconscious, then you become conscious of it. So then all of a sudden the flow that you had stopped. Once you understand what you're doing. And that's why Yahusha said, oh, thee of little faith. So he began to sing. Yahusha put him on. He said, oh, thee of little faith, right? Wherefore did you doubt? So in what direction? Because the word for wherefore is towards what did you doubt? Towards what did you doubt? Or where was your attention that all of a sudden you began to doubt yourself, which made you sink and actually get swallowed by those who are in their emotions? You got swallowed by the seas, which we know as Azar was saying, Mitch Ray Azar, Slackley, was saying that Mayin, that the letter Mem is water or chaos, right? So you got swallowed by the chaos that surrounds us. But again, water is necessary, right? So I want to go to Well, first, before I shift gears, does anybody have any questions or comments before I kind of shift? Okay. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna I'm gonna go to the book of Psalms, commonly called Tehillim, commonly called Psalms, chapter 112. Tehillim, Psalms chapter 112, and we're gonna start at verse 1. Say Hallel Yah in your, respective houses when you arrive. Tehillim or Tehillim 112. Praise ye Yah, praise ye Yah. Blessed is the man that feareth Yahuwah, that delighteth greatly in his commands. His seed shall be mighty upon the earth. The generation of the upright shall be blessed. Wealth and riches shall be in his house, and his righteousness endureth forever. Until the upright there arise light in the darkness. He is gracious and full of compassion and righteous. A good man showeth favor and lendeth. He will guide his affairs with discretion. Surely he shall not be moved forever. The righteousness shall be an everlasting remembrance. He shall not be afraid of evil tidings. His heart is fixed, trusting in Yah. His heart is established. Just for, giggles. That word for established is actually samak. Anyway, his heart is established. He shall not be afraid until he see his desire upon his enemies. He have dispersed. He have given to the poor. His righteousness endureth forever. His horn shall be exalted with honor. The wicked shall see it and be grieved. He shall gnash with his teeth and melt away. The desire of the wicked shall perish. So, quick question. What does that have to do with the previous passage? And what do you get from this Tehillah? Okay, Shalomo.
Okay. Excuse me. You see back in Mattiyahu that Kefa initially, in his mind, he had a will to maybe, I don't know if you would agree with this, but test his faith in Yahusha. And you kind of see that a little like again later on when it comes time for him to go to trial. And, he wants to go with them. He wants to, hang on, the tree with them. But, we know how that goes. So Kefa always has this mindset of, I love you, I'm here for you. But when it doesn't look like how he thinks, he get a little shook. Going to the Tehillah here is telling you what a man who's grounded in Yah is supposed to be. When, bad news strikes him, that doesn't shake him. When, the things that he sees in his walk, when they play out, he's not afraid because he knows where his help comes from, and he continues to praise Yah throughout it. So that's just the contrast I see between the two passages.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Toda Rabah, okay? More Kanakia, Adon, Mashlonka. How you doing?
Nito, Toda, Shalom family. Just something real quick on that. Again, I'm gonna say it like Shalomo. I don't know if you'll agree with it or not, but it kind of shows how the unity of a mindset comes into play. Because for a brief moment there, Kefa joined Yahusha in a oneness of mind. He adapted to that possibility of walking on water and joined in with his faith. And that shows how great a power that we as a people when we come into a oneness of a mindset and a oneness of faith in the Most High and in the abilities that He gave us, that we can accomplish great feats that would confuse the wise, as the scripture said. He chose the foolish things of the world to confound the wise, which was one of the attributes that even at the Tower of Babel that they possessed. He said the people are one, and they will accomplish what they do because why? They were all thinking the same. They were moving the same. And for a brief moment, Kafer had a taste of that, and it was only when he disconnected his united mindset, he began to notice the turbulence around him, or the waters around him, and began to lose faith.
Okay. That's a told point as well, Adon, in terms of being a cod and mindset, and how your brother is able to influence you to have a mindset that you didn't even know that you had, which is why Uncle Beck's favorite scripture, I believe, is oh, how good it is for brothers to dwell together in unity. Because once we do that, I'm able to pull something out of Joseph that he didn't know was in him. And then Azar is able to pull something out of me that I didn't know was in me. And then Maury Samak is able to pull something out of Maury Kanaki out that he didn't know, and so on and so forth. So it's like, dang, I didn't know that was in me, man. Told out. And he's like, yeah, I knew it was in you. That's why Yahusha can pull him up and be like, yo, what took your attention off of what we were just doing? It was us. And you took your mind off of what we were doing because it got loud around you. So absolutely, Psalms 110 is in regards to. I just want to read a couple of scriptures, right? Said, verse 4, unto the upright there ariseth. Slackly, I'm gonna start verse 3. Wealth and riches shall be in his house, and his righteousness endureth forever. Unto the upright there ariseth light in the darkness. He is gracious and full of compassion and righteous. Drop down to verse 6 and 7. Surely he shall not be moved forever. The righteousness shall be in everlasting remembrance. He shall not be afraid of evil tidings. His heart is fixed, trusting in Yahuwah. His heart is established. He shall not be afraid until he sees his desire upon his enemies. As I said, that word for establish is samah, which means support, right? To lean, to uphold, to rest, to uphold, to sustain. His heart is upheld. It is supported, which is his mind, as we know. So his mind is upheld. His mentality is upheld. But the word that I really want to pull out of it, right, is the word endure. Verse 3 once again said, wealth and riches shall be in his house forever. Matter of fact, let's go to verse 9. He have dispersed, he has given to the poor, his righteousness endureth forever. His horn shall be exalted with honor. That word for endure is amad, which means to stand, to remain, to endure, to take one's stand, to stand forth, to present oneself. You spell that ayin, mem, dalet. Ayin is an eye, which means to know, to be intimate with. So when it says, and he knew her, that's to be intimate with. Or when it says that no man shall teach his brother, saying to know Yah. But everyone should know Yah. Everybody should have an experience with Yah. Everybody should be intimate with the Creator, right? So that's ayin. The mem is water, also chaos, also multitude. And the dalet is a door, pathway. or door or entrance, right? So amad, or to endure, is to know that on the other side of chaos, there is opportunity. So you endure by knowing what's on the other side of whatever you're enduring. Which is what you see in this Tehillah. It's talking about the one who is enduring, what they're doing while they're enduring, how their mindset is while they're enduring. They're not moved, they're fixed, their heart is established, they are still giving to the poor, they are upholding righteousness, they are putting it in their seed, which is why their righteousness is forever, because they're passing it down for generation to generation, as the Most High said of Abraham, for I know that he will teach his household. But they're doing all of this while the wicked are trying to devour them. But they're so steadfast in what they're doing that the wicked are gnashing their teeth, sucking their teeth, and they got something to say under their breath and all that, because the righteous are not moved, because they know what's on the other side, which comes from the aspect of first stepping out on the water. You got to step out on the water in order to test whether you are ready to move forward or not. Which is why the Most High put us where we are. He put us in this situation. As he did our forefather, we said that these nations I left around you to be a snare unto you, to test you, right? So we're in a situation now where we are still being tested. The world is being tested. You have people who are so moved by their emotions that they are truly trying to swallow you, trying to break your mindset. But our job, even in the night watch, which is the peak of the demonic activity, even at the peak of the demonic activity, we are supposed to be able to rise above it, to have our mindset above the chaos. In the midst of darkness, as it said in Psalms 112, in the midst of darkness, light arises upon you, which is the same thing in Isaiah 64 said, arise, for your light has come. Even though gross darkness is on the face of the earth and on the people, the light is upon you, because you are steadfast and you know that you are going to endure. Let's go to Matthew chapter 10. So we're going to back to the book of Matthew, chapter 10. We're reading verse 5. And it said, Yahushua sent these 12 out, having commanded them, saying, do not go into the way of the nations. Do not enter a city of the Shomarim, of the Shomeronim, Samaritans, but rather go to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And as you go, proclaim, saying, the kingdom of heaven has drawn near. Heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out demons. You have received without paying, give without being paid. You priests, do not acquire gold or silver or copper for your belts, or bag for your journey, or 2 undergarments, or sandals, or staff, for the worker is worthy of his food. And into whatever city or village you enter, ask who is worthy in it, and stay there until you leave. And as you enter into a house, greet it. And if the house is worthy, let your shalom come upon it. Let your shalom come upon it. But if it is not worthy, let your shalom return to you. And whoever does not receive you nor hear your words, when you leave that house or city, shake off the dust from your feet. Truly I say to you, it shall be more bearable for the land of Sodom and Gomorrah in the day of judgment than for that city. See, I send you out as sheep in the midst of wolves. Therefore, endure, they don't say that, but therefore be wise as serpents and innocent as doves. But beware of men, for they shall deliver you up to Sanhedrins and flog you in their congregations. And you shall be brought before governors and sovereigns for my sake, as a witness to them and to the nations. But when they deliver you up, do not worry about how or what you shall speak, for it shall be given to you in that hour which you shall speak. For it is not you who speak, but the Spirit of your Father speaketh in you. He's telling you what's happening to him. Oh, gosh. 21. And brother shall deliver up brother to death, and a father his child, and children shall rise up against parents, and shall put them to death. And you shall be hated all for my name's sake. But he who shall have endured to the end shall be saved. So your family not gonna like you, your brother and your sister not gonna like you, the people in your neighborhood not gonna like you. They're gonna do this to you, they're gonna do that to you, but you do your job. You endure to the end. Regardless of what comes your way, the Most High has already told you to be strong and be very courageous. Be strong and be very courageous. Fear not, nor be dismayed. Because yeah, these things are going to come. Absolutely, these things are going to come. They have to. How can I know you're my servant if I don't test you? How do I know that you're going to be with me? In the sunshine, if I don't give you rain, if I don't put these things upon you, how will I know? Endure. Hoop umino, to remain, to tarry behind, not recede or flee. To not recede or flee. To preserve under misfortunes and trials, to hold fast to one's faith in Yah. To endure, bear bravely and calmly, to keep your peace. And Isaiah says that he shall keep him in perfect peace. He shall keep him in perfect peace who keeps his mind upon Yah. He keeps you in perfect shalom, regardless of what's going on the outside. Yeah, we know they're going to rev up this shot in the arm thing. Yeah, we know IDs and stuff like that's coming. Maury Kanakia.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to add on to what you were saying about the perfect peace. See, a lot of people believe that peace is automatic, or it should be. Sometimes you're put in a situation that really disturbs your peace, but Yah will put people around you to bring that peace back to you. Case in point, the video that was just done to me. I saw it last night when it came to my phone. And I said, well, you know what, Father? I'm going to leave that alone. I'm not going to even give no energy to it. But then I found out today that my bot shared it, not understanding that it was actually created to demean me. Or if she did, I don't know. And I lost my peace there just for a hint. Because it's like, you put me out of your assembly over COVID-19. You use that as a reason. You've done all manner of things against me to hurt my character and to destroy me financially while taking my family away from me. But yet you use my name and my voice and my testimony of you when I was trying to be humble and supportive to you and treat you as my leader supposed to be treated. But Yah gave me a brother that I had mentioned a word to, and he came into the name. And he really know your testimony. Let's do. Keep moving forward for Yah. And then in that moment, my peace came back. So we're not going to just automatically, oh, this is happening to me. Now, we're human. We have feelings. But Yah has people around us. He has his ruach. He has his word to bring us back into alignment so that we can elevate in the spirit to where we're supposed to be. Then shall He keep us in perfect peace. Because why? We brought our mind, I'll say it from my perspective, I brought my mind back to Yah. I brought it back to him. I had some help. And sometimes we're gonna need a brother and sister to reach out to us, or we're gonna have to reach out to them. But how is victory on the other side of that is my power, my majesty, my Elohim. Then can I calm down and understand that, okay, this thing is coming up against me, but at the end, there's victory. Because why? If I walk uprightly before him, and if I humble myself before him and trust him, he's not a man that he should lie. And then I can come back into peace and refocus. It's all in the scriptures. Melech Dawid. Abigail was a great example of that. So I just praise the Most High for his spirit. And even now, with this, the group that we're in, the building that's going on right now. I love this because this is a part of obtaining and walking in that perfect peace. I yield.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Todaya. Hey, Barakis Kodesh, man. That's what we're supposed to be doing, and that's what it's supposed to look like. Like you said, it's not going to be, we're not robots, neither were we intended to be. But as you're being tested, you're going to have moments where your emotions should get out of hand. Not that you shouldn't have emotions, but your emotions should take over you. Like the waves. The waves should overtake you. But that's when you have to focus and endure. You have to know what's on the other side of it. If you don't know what's on the other side of what you're going through, then you are going to fold. Because then what would you be fighting for? If you don't want the community, then when your brother and your sister come up, y'all have arguments or y'all have disputes, you're going to break away from it because community is not what you saw on the other side of that. When you and your Isha or your Ish or anybody that you say that you love and y'all have arguments and y'all yelling and screaming at each other, but if you don't see the other side of that, that's what's going to break it up. Your business not going well, so on and so forth, or you're just starting and it's hard work. If you don't see what's on the other side of that, you're going to go back to that job. Okay. We have to understand what's the end goal. What's the end goal? Let's see, do I have any other scripts? Well, I'll go to Mattiyahu, commonly called Matthew chapter 24. We're going to start at verse 3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples or taught ones came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be? What shall be the sign of thy coming in the end of the age? And Yahushua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am the anointed one, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear wars and rumors of wars. See that ye not be troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. You're going to hear all these things, but endure. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows, but you shall endure. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all the nations for my name's sake. And then shall many be offended, and betray one another, and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall rise and deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. But he that shall endure unto the end, that same shall be saved. that same shall be rescued from danger or destruction. That same shall be saved from disease. The one who stays strong. The one who has the insight, for the iron is an eye in the paleo. It's one eye for a reason, for the insight to know the opportunity or the doorway or the entrance to another level once I get past this chaos. Once I walk on this water, once I learn how to walk on this water. So, Mr. Pakal, we have times coming ahead. We're in times now. But we have to keep our mind on Yah. We have to make sure that we keep our brothers and our sisters not only in our prayers, so doing the spiritual things to lift them up, but even physically, make sure that you do what you need to do to make sure that your brother and your sister are good. And we have to endure. And with that, Mr. Pakal, I say Toda Rabbah for your attentiveness, and all praises to the Creator, and I open up the floor.
Hello, y'all saints. Can you hear me?
Okay, Nadal.
All praises to the Most High, because my healing is being restored. I feel a whole lot better than I had been feeling this morning and yesterday. So I appreciate you keeping me in your prayers, and I know the healing in my body is being restored minute by minute. So I'm doing things now that I wasn't able to do earlier in the morning. This lesson is really so rich because, as Adon said earlier, when we are in the midst of a trial, the Father, he will send somebody around you. Now, they may not be exactly what you would expect them to be, but there will be enough of the word in their mouth to keep you fortified so that you can endure until the next, and the next. It's not always going to be what we perceive it should be, because we don't direct nothing. We are followers, and we have to allow him to direct the certain people that he will put in our path that make sure that we get to the next and the next and the next and the next. You speaking earlier about the waters, my mind immediately went to, as Adon said way earlier when we began, the separation of the waters. And then, literally, this will tie into Ezekiel. It will tie into Acts 1 and 6. It will tie into Ezekiel 37 and John 7 and 37. Messiah said, he that, and I'm paraphrasing this, he that is thirsty, let him come after me. So when you can't even see, you won't even feel, the world doesn't even feel the thirst of the creation that has been pushing together the circumstances which causes us to be born again. They don't see it because their mind, and as has been said already, the oneness and unity of the mind is strength, going back to the Tower of Babel. Their world's view is stuck on preserving and enjoying and gaining this, and they refuse to see that it's being destroyed. Minute by minute, day by day, there's something going on. The Father is shooting an arrow somewhere in the earth. So the reason why I say it ties into Ezekiel 37, because we all know about the valley of the dry bones, but the dry bones won't exist without water. You can't have flesh without water. And then the reason why it ties into Acts chapter 1, verse 6 is because we are, and I try to let this sink in on me daily, we are the spiritual and physical representations of the kingdom being restored. because all we're saying to people is repent before the kingdom is at hand. Every time we get up and go somewhere, where we go up to Richmond next couple days, we're representing the power, the authority, the character, the name of the Most High. So we have to begin to understand how to walk in that peace. And I talked to my mother not long ago, and because of what I had went through on my job, we have to know that when we go through something, it is for the perfecting and the maturing of the saints, because we all have these words in our mouth and in our hearts. So you're going to be tested. You will be tested over and over and over and over again, because I really believe with all my heart, when this transition fully phases into a greater dimension, or its final dimension, and we still remain on the earth, that first moment of the merging of the eternal with our limited mortal bodies will all have been worth everything. And I'm just paraphrasing what Paul said, that the sufferings of this life is not going to be compared with what the esteem and the honor we shall receive once this transition is fully completed. So encourage your brother, your sister, your wife. Listen to one another. Desire that you uplift, uphold, honor each other, honor the mishpachah, because we're all we've got. And we've got to understand, the more we obey, the more the Father sees and hears. Oh, okay, they're returning to my pattern. They're returning to observing and doing what I commanded them to do. So now I have to begin to do more of what I said I was going to do. So I yield.
Hey, hallelujah. Hallelujah, though. Todayah, even for your healing that is occurring even right now, though. Glad to hear that. It's definitely good. Anybody else? Shay Shamar.
Oh yeah, back to the first chapter we were talking about with Kepha walking on the water. And a scripture that came to my head was Tehillim, commonly called Psalms, chapter 37, verse 24, where it says, "Though he fall, he shall not utterly be cast down, for Yahweh upholdeth him with his hand."
Hmm. Hallelujah. Toda Adon. Anybody else? I don't see any. I don't see a hand. So if you got your hand up, you can unmute. By yourself. Shalom, Aki.
Shalom, shalom. Can you hear me? Hear me pretty well?
Absolutely.
Okay. Just like a Don Shamar, just pulled a verse. I'm gonna go to Tehillim as well. Chapter 11, verse 5. And this is in correlation to Kepha, where it says that the most Yahuwah tries the righteous, but his being shall hate the wrong, and the ones who love violence. I wrote down 2 verses, also in Tehillim chapter 24. Verse 16. Oops, we go. Oh.
Be good, Alana.
Pardon the noise, pardon the noise. But to paraphrase, to make this quick, because the little one is going nuts. The Most High, or those that are righteous, though they may fall, you know, the Most High still has the ability to lift them back up. You know? So, despite the calamity, despite everything that's going on, you know, as long as we stay steadfast, that's the word that's going around. I love it. As long as we stay steadfast in the Creator, nothing should faze us. Nothing should matter. You know, I was talking with Mark earlier about the calamities that's going on in Israel right now, and it breaks my heart to see the calamity that's going on over there. But I do know that it has to happen because we're in those times where there's wars and rumors of wars that are going on. But to see the innocent being casualties in this squalor, it's like it's unnecessary. So my heart went out to them and those that have lost so many over there. But despite everything that's going on, we still have to endure, you know. And this is a true test. This is a true refining to find that that gold that is there, buried deep within us. You know. That's all I have. I yield.
Hey. Hallelujah to our Baki, and Alana for her feature. But Kane, absolutely, it's a refining process. Most definitely a refining process. Anybody else, fam? Shlomo.
Okay. Everything that was brought out tonight, I thought was very profound, very powerful, because I know we all go through things in this walk because the Most High is refining us, is proofing us, is strengthening us to do what He's created us to do. And that's something, you know, that I pray for on a constant, you know, daily basis. You know, you just give me the strength to, you know, be where you need me to be, to walk in the purpose that you created me for. And I just want to say, because it's something that I definitely personally need to work on myself. You know, we all have our part in our walks where, like Maurice Mock would say, we got, you know, our Enoch moments where it's just us and the Creator, intimate time where you know, you got to seek the Creator for yourself. You got to grow for yourself, you know. But at the same time, like Maury Kanaka was talking about before, you got to, you know, realize, you know, we do have people around us. And, you know, as brothers and sisters, as elders, as, you know, we got to, you know, really make sure that everybody's okay. Because a lot of times when people are in certain points of their walk and, you know, the struggles are getting to them, they just need to hear that little bit of word. I think Zoke and Yahoo said this before. It's just enough little word in their mouths just to, you know, keep them pushing. So I know me personally, you know, that's something that I need to work on, but that's just something that I wanted to bring out. We all have to have this focus on the Creator and the focus on being more intimate with the Creator. But I know, especially for me, you know, we got to make sure we're all okay, because we're not just around each other just because, you know, we're family, we're community. So with that comes, you know, like layering bricks together. You just don't stack one brick on top of one brick on top of one brick. There's a pattern to make sure that wall stands firm. They're interconnected. So that's just all I wanted to say. I yield. Shalom to everyone.
Hey. Shalom Adonis to the Rabbah. Absolutely. To Maya. Cool.
No, it's Tevin. Um, I just want to say real quick, with everybody's comments tonight, thing that came to my mind was like y'all when he tests us, it's kind of like we're in school, and when you're in school, you're learning, but you take quizzes and tests to make sure you understand and have the knowledge of what's going on. So I feel like Yah does it the same way to if he gives us a test or a quiz, he's testing our faith to make sure that we totally trust in him, and no matter what grade you get or anything like that, he still you know wants you to understand that just trust him.
Okay. Okay. At the end of the day, that's what it boils down to. Trust him. Okay. Anybody else? I'm sorry, I didn't open up to the Ebo in the Zaquanine first, but any other brothers? Yeah, okay. Audrey, Mama Judy.
I just want to say that it was a very told lesson and I enjoyed it.
Oh, hallelujah. I'm always glad to hear your voice and for you to be on.
My pleasure.
Shalom. I just want to say it's a total lesson, and I was thinking it reminded me of Hebrews 11. Now, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. For the elders obtained a good report. And just finished reading and all that. That it boils down to your faith. And I enjoyed everything everyone's saying because it's a good told word. And we got to stay in faith and believe in each other.
Hi, Mom. Toda Rabah. Once again, always good to hear y'all. Uh, and may the Most High continue to strengthen y'all so y'all can strengthen us to y'all wisdom. Hallelujah. Um, anybody else? Just lead it on Terry for a little bit. And if not, I know Don Samat said he's out on the road. Most High willing, you get here safely and expeditiously. Okay. So I don't see any other hands. So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and Uncle Bet, you good? Johanna? Okay, I'm gonna get you okay.
Damn, Don. I was trying to hit the unmute button. Told lesson, dog.
Okay, hallelujah. Hallelujah. All right, okay. That being said, we can go ahead and pray out and prayerfully all of those who will be joining us this weekend. Everybody gets here safely. Once again, we will have Shabbat, immersions or what they would call baptisms on at 10 o'clock a.m. on Shabbat, commonly called Saturday. We'll have Shabbat service at 2. Then on Yom Rishon, Shavuot, service will start at about 1:30 at the latest 2, just depending on where everybody is at, because we know we got other people driving in specifically on that day. So for those who will be online, check in about 1, and we'll make sure myself and Maurice Samat, that we'll put it in the group before we actually start. If you have not turned in your payment in regards to the $50 per adult, please do so either tonight or early in the morning, please. And even if you're not going to be here and you just want to donate, please do that as well. That would be very helpful. Outside of that, Yeah, okay. Prayerfully, everybody has a good night. So all hearts and minds clear. Matter of fact, Maury Kanakia, I don't know if you're in a position to pray us out or don't.
Okay.
All right.
Father, we give all esteem and praise to you. For you are good to Israel. And we exalt you in all your majesty and your power. We thank you for the gathering of your children, for those that are like minds and like hearts and like spirits, that seek you in spirit and in truth. Father, we thank you for blessing each and every one of us to obtain the knowledge, grow closer and closer to you, and that we may seek you, Father, with all our heart, soul, mind. Father, give a blessing for people as we set our heart to celebrate your festival on the road, Father, for preserving their ways, nature out of the ways, Father. We thank you for the manifestation of your spirit. As we worship you, praise you, Father. Thank you for the mores. Thank you for the elders, Father. Thank you for the brothers and the sisters. We live to love you, and we love you with all our heart, soul, mind, and spirit. And we thank you now, as we depart from this call, that you're forever watching over us. And thank you for the medication that you've given to us in the way. That's the praise is the King. Blessed be your name.
I mean, to the about don't. Love to all, shalom to all, Laila Tov.